All right. Really. So that's charging my damn cats. So now I figured out while I was watching. This should not be moving around, and I have yet to adjust this right, make sure the microphone's correct, all that. But I'm watching it on the TV out there, and I see the image keeps moving, and I've got one of my cats in here yanking at my Halo tripod. The cord I got strewn across, and it's plugged in, so I have power for it. So I don't drain this battery pack, which is keeping my microphone, which this will run for about 20 minutes and it dies. If it's even working. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I got that used for like $15 on eBay. I'm gonna set this in at least down here, a bunch of screwdrivers, my fix-it thing, and just stuff that didn't sell. Just basically a micro scrap. Shit, I should probably grab my tablet too so I can see chat. So I have to angle that. Or I just saw, or whomever. Or scrap. Get this right. So I got inspiration for this a little bit because I have taken down. Make sure I'm not too. At least you guys can see this for right now until I get everything situated. Oh, the tablet. Tablet's fully charged. So as I started taking stuff down and some electronics and just some other stuff that I'm not going to do anything with, I'm saying is like, I tried asking a don't think it's enough. When the time comes, I'm gonna. It's at least a little better for now. And I've taken down some stuff, some electronics and things like that. It's time for it to go. Time for me to fly. I don't remember saying that. So I emailed a scrapper on YouTube. Well, emailed them their channel's YouTube, and in short, he said no. He didn't want. Gotta move this. He didn't want a big old. Why is this saying no internet? There it goes. Me. Live. I would not get too super used to. Yeah, see, you're already come and gone. This. I don't know. I was hoping that there'd be a way how to completely bring the chat as a full bar. But I need to make it to where people can see right here. Because that's the point, the intent of me making this video. So see, I might have to have it way up and angled down. Because I didn't not trim my beard. For people to not see my pretty face. So let's figure that out. And if you're a usual, I have a Halo tripod I'm trying to move around. If you're a usual, somewhat usual viewer of my channel, you can at least surmise. So I'm going to be working right. I'm waiting for the tablet to catch up. And I'm in it. I guess I can do it like this. If I can get it closer, maybe farther back. Then I gotta move it that way and then point it up. So this is why studios and places like that, why they have gaffers and boomers. Well, not really boomers, but boom people who move that. That's why there's not 3 people making a TV show. There's hundreds. All have separate jobs. So what this one is, that angling on how. So as long as I can, okay. So this seems to be about right. The way it's appearing on the tablet is about right. So the point of this stream, it's not typical for me to do 3 streams day. As I was saying, that a lot of this stuff, I mean, this was a Panasonic shortwave radio, so you can shortwave, so you can pick up transmissions from across the world. Is it a shortwave? No, it's not, just standard AM FM. All right, but shortwave, you can pick up transmissions because of the size of the wave. It doesn't degrade because it's so. But this, if it didn't have this is the only determining thing that's making it not sell. It had the box, had the manual, box was kind of beat, but this specific model sells for like 50, 60 bucks. And I brought this down to like 20. And I said, nope, F it. Because as soon as somebody's going to get it, I'll guarantee you at that. Like, eventually someone's like 15 bucks. I'm like, dude, yeah, I whichever. Let's just say I did that, 15 bucks. They're like, oh, that's broken. I want my money back. No. Like I said, you gotta know when to hold them. Know when to walk away. Be like, nope, I'm not dealing with you. So I guess it is still kind of eBay related. I was going to be tearing this stuff down, taking it apart anyhow. Why not? Do it live. So I can review the chat after it's all done processing, and I can review it. And I can look at all the, oh, dude, you shouldn't have done that. I can look at all those comments. But people are pressed about this kind of stuff. They can be found all over. So the things that I have. So I actually got an inspiration from another YouTuber, scrapper, called Scrap It All. And as what he does is he just takes apart. I mean, he's full-time scrapper, so he goes all over the place, picks stuff up, and takes it all apart, and gets better value than just its straight base value scrap. So he gets comments a lot, like, that's not worth your time. I'm saying, and I'm stating this in the same degree of principle of what he does, because he has it, and the time is not the issue. This right now, everything here, besides like what's already copper wire and stuff, this is all scrap or junk or nothing. So for me to spend, it could be a couple hours taking some of it apart, and then I have little bins where I could put the separate types of metals, and then eventually put it all in a box. And the box I would have of what's going to end up, and then I've got some more other like metal stuff, some old hard drives and things like that that I could take apart, save for the boards and all different types of things, right? Because I've been watching those channels. What I'm going to end up with is probably not even going to take up 2 of these boxes. So if I can consolidate these for stuff, all the scrap metal is going to be steel, aluminum, brass, like in here. Oh, steel. So separate the steel, brass, bronze, almost the same thing. Aluminum, and then some of these circuit boards. Yeah, I'll keep a little stash of stuff. Why not? Not like it's going to. I just got done sneezing like 30 times. If not, this would have been started like an hour ago. But I was sneezing, so my nose is still congested. So the point of this is just for me to kind of take things apart, like, you know, most teenagers did, probably still do, except for these electronics are a lot more difficult to take apart. The newer electronics. So I've got my little spread of screwdrivers of shop basics. I probably got it like Harbor Freight or something, because I don't need any bulky tools. And then my iFixit kit for the micro stuff. Nothing, no brands in here of anything that's going to be shown or said are sponsored by any means. I bought this like 5-6 years ago off eBay so I can work on a computer that I had. That would have been like my. So I have this one, another one. So one I got prior to the one that I just replaced. I got this, like 20 bucks. And actually, I think on Amazon it was 20 bucks. It was on sale, like 50% off or something. But anyhow, so I'm going to keep all of the, and I have my tablet right here. So any chats that come through, I doubt this microphone is working. Actually, that would have been nice if someone could, because this turns off. It's blue again. And as soon as that kicks on, it should kick on for that. That's why eventually I got to get better stuff. So I'm talking loud enough to where I think that whoever needs to hear me, they can hear me. And if it's not going to be too much of an issue of the sound quality and volume, and you just want to see me take stuff apart, stick around. They'll make more. So maybe a flashlight would have been a tad better to... I think my other Phillips screwdriver. The one, no, it's enough. So any of this, well, thank goodness I started with the one that wasn't really moving around. So most people will use like a power tool or something. I don't have any. I don't have any of those power tools. This is what I have. All right, so how about if I just start off with what I know will most likely come right up. So Scrap It All, I don't know his name. So like these little things right here, these little washers, these should be brass. And that's why I wash these guys, right? There we go. You can't see it on here. It's not ferrous, brass. This, steel. Ooh, now I get heavy fast. Ooh, that one's dirty. Ooh, that one's the same. All right. So actually, that really don't matter because when you get all the steel, whatever sticks to the magnet, and you do it a couple of times, that way you don't pull anything extra up. Then you can just separate it that way. That's how I'm going to do it. This is otherwise, besides scrapping stuff 35 years ago, this is my first attempt at this. So the point, another point of doing this, I should probably stop talking. For anyone who would review this, deal with you later. Anyone who would review this, the point of this is multi, so I don't end up throwing it away. I could list just this as scrap. Like you guys, whoever wants to buy it, could take it apart. The shipping and all that extra cost isn't really going to be that much to worry about. It's just more like I can do this myself and turn this into a long-term, I guess you could generically say like an investment, because all scrap metal is going up. Silver, gold is probably almost 5,000 an ounce now. Silver, I'm not quite sure. I mean, it's gone up. But the point is that instead of throwing this away or only making $10 on it, I could take it apart for fun, for a video. This is not anywhere near my typical videos. I am probably going to need some cable snips, but these are so small. That, I mean, I'm going to do that now. But these battery contacts they might be brass. Again, this is just for me. I've never done shit like this. This is just me from watching other channels. I watch Scrap It All, which I just started a handful of months ago, maybe back in the summer, I'd say. And Thub Print, Canadian. My guy's got a lot of energy. I like him. So it's pulling heavy on that spring. Just at that little contact. So everything else is going to be brass. So how much, I don't know, man. I'm not one of those people that, I don't know. I can't tell you really what it is. Oh, I got this part here. So all these little bits and pieces. I mean, it could be, that's just a little Pizio speaker. I mean, these wires aren't going to add up to much. Man, those are little less screws in there. They're not going to add up to much. Or they would add up to nothing if I didn't just do this, just for kicks and giggles for fun. Where I was going is this is not going to be a typical thing. I just happen to have this stuff. May as well. I make videos. Some people watch them. Again, and this is going to be, I was going to be taking it apart anyhow. Actually, this came up to me today. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take these apart. Start my own little scrap box and scrap pile. And when the time is right, 10 years, 50, or whatever I have accumulated can be taken to wherever. But as for eBay stuff, yeah, that's most of this is the only non-eBay related video out of 500 and something. So if I'm in, see, I see this right here. If I'm in the water, you might as well go swimming. You might as well look at the fishes. You might as well touch the weight. You might as well do everything while you're there. Might as well take it all apart. So I need to go find my little pliers. All right, so they're not where they're supposed to be. And that's going to tell me someone else grabbed them. So some of these things here, because it's not a lot. And a lot of these things for electronics and stuff are gold plated. That and its value might be 5 cents. Again, this is not something that I typically do. There's 2 big ass boxes in here, so I imagine, I don't know how I'm gonna be done with it. Nobody's asking. I'm just talking. So, matter of fact, I'm replying to a question nobody asked because there's nobody in here asking that question. Hey, Derek, when did you stop talking to yourself? I don't know, man. I swear people were there. So just imagine if you were a scrapper and you did this kind of stuff for a living. And you just go and come across different electronics and different metals. Like, yeah, I can collect a bunch of that stuff for however long. I actually had. Oh, there we go. Oh, kind of. There's more micro screws in there. And for me, my understanding is that this is a pretty decent board, little IC board, integrated circuit board. And it's pretty, for otherwise, if this would have just been tossed in the trash. I have probably like 10 of these little clocks. I think there's 2 of them in here. And I sold them. More screws. All right. There we go. Take these little rubber contacts off. That's a little bit of gold and copper. Trash. No metal. No metal. None. Some of that stuff can just be dealt with later. I mean, I'm not going to be cashing any of this stuff in for who knows how long. You can see that's a LCD display. For anyone interested, LCD was invented in Kent at Kent State University by one of my old elementary school teacher's husbands, or at least he's one of the lead engineers or scientists. Aurora, like the Aurora Borealis. Well, at least her last name. And when up here, him, and there was a child show called Mr. Wizard, a lighter version of Bill Nye. And Mr. Wizard and that guy did like a little collab back in 85, whenever it was, 87, whenever it was. All right. So this, I am not a scrapping aficionado, but that's copper. And that's that. And that's something any bit at all. We'll just wait for a while until I crack that open and take that apart. This works, and it's going to not after a while. For me, it's basically, if there's any metal on here, I might as well just take it apart. On any of these things I'm taking apart. There you go. not going to slice my finger open or hurt myself for something I'm not going to be able to cash out on for who knows when. So this is just a smaller version of a disc resurfacer. They work if you just have to remove fingerprints. But for disc resurfacing, you can look at a couple lives ago. I probably only had 10 lives and over 10 streams in a little over a year. In 3, including this one, in just as many days. Mainly because, well, I'm not really stuck inside. I just don't want to go outside. I have inventory that needs moved around or resurfaced or cleaned or organized or whatever. Might as well do that while it's cold. Because when that weather breaks, if you are a reseller, when the weather breaks and if you know where to go, I mean, I'll go out on one of these days when it's nicer, but when it's 50 plus for 8 months, I got places to be, things to buy. All right, so this is what's inside here. So I'm just going to take out anything that's metal. Yeah, I can't find the one. Oh, there it is. I don't know if that's the one, though. If it'll do the job, no. This is a switch that are typically silver and brass. So there's a little bits of metal in there that I'm just not going to tinker with. All right, I have to find my multi-tools because I need something to cut these wires. I find my drink. Let me find my multi-tool. They do. This, since someone's going to ask, is I want to say it's Winchester. I got this, and I might even still have the knife, and a pocket knife, and it had like something else, a flashlight or something. Got it at Big Lots or one of those stores 20 years ago. I mean, you can see the rust on those screws, but it still works, right? I think this one of these blades is like it's bent a little because 20 years of using a tool that's not supposed to be used for. And I've had it since. And it's not exactly the tool for this exact job. But guess what? There we go. So the copper in these shielded cords, my understanding is, if you are, get some scissors. Got some kitchen scissors. I don't know all the pricing. I don't know number 2, number this, number that. I don't know. It's just things that'll get tossed in the bin. I am more after. I don't have the tools to really. I mean, I'm sure I could. See which way it wants to move. That way. Without a hammer, I'm not going to be trying that. That could just go in there for now. And that I would have to open up. Personal toothbrush sanitizer. Something I'm not using. If you know, you know. USB cord, probably about the same thing. And this box is full of other things too. I think one of these has a bunch of computer parts in it. All right. This is a Sony camera battery charger thing. I'm not dealing with them. Someone's gonna be like, hey, I want. Too late. Just, yeah, a lot of these little chargers and things can be 10, 12 bucks. I just. Know when to hold him. Know when to walk away. That song, right? I'm done with them. Dun do be dun dun dun. Oklahoma. Oh, it looks like a Torx. Actually, I have a Torx right. There we go. How about this? For anyone who does sell these things, now I'm decreasing the amount of genuine Sony OEM stuff, right? So now if you have them, you know that there's one more less on the market. Most plugs are brass. I thought I did. Because I was going to use a big flathead just for doing this. A little circuit board, a little coil, a little IC chip on it. Another little IC chip. So according to Scrap It All, this is kind of inspired from, this one has 2 legs on each side. It's not really valuable. Anything that has 4 or more is. To me, I don't know exactly. This is just going to be stuff that's just going to get tossed in a box. It's going to be in a box. It's all just going to be scrap junk, scrap metal, scrap e-waste and stuff. That will, in a couple days, a couple years, 10, whichever, will be gone through. It's basically investment. It's money I already have into this stuff, no matter the price of it. that has intrinsic value because of its metals. If I stash it in a box and wait 20 years to cash it in, however I want to separate it, this right now is an investment. Is one very, very interesting way to look at it. So this is a digital camera. I'm sorry, a 35 millimeter, a Canon. Something was wrong with this one. Oh, I think like this. I used to sell, yeah, this doesn't want to stay up. I used to sell a lot of these smaller electronics. At 3, 4, 5, 8, 10, 15 bucks a piece, and somebody gets it like it doesn't work. Well, you're out money now. So a lot of these things I waited and waited and waited and waited. And if you haven't been able to guess, and waited. I mean, I suppose if there was more light down here, but I might have to like micro do that one. So here's a portable CD player. One of those. I used to sell quite a bit of those types of electronics. There are screws. There's a bunch of them on there. There's a circuit board in there. So I'm going to do it. There's a spring right there, too. I might have to tag scrap it all in one way, manner, fashion, or form for this. Because this is pretty much where I got the inspiration for it. So really tossing it out, and he scraps it all. That's what I'm doing. For me, and for him, wise, for me, this is just fun because otherwise it was just going to get tossed out. And something that's tossed out is not worth it. But whoever wrote it, no one did. But yeah, eye protection would be key. But that's why I just kind of. I have plenty of sunglasses and safety glasses and stuff like that too, because I sell them. I do have a couple of hammers around here. If I gotta take some of these and just smash them with the hammer inside in here. It's going to be amazing in between these two boxes. Again, when it's all said and done, it's going to take up maybe 2 of these combined, not including all the copper wire. You know, all the shielded regular copper wire. This is brass. This is not. This is going to be steel. Those are going to be brass, most likely. Again, just do a magnet check. There's a little motor in here. Do that. Do that. And so everything in here, that's just the circuit board. And there are screws. And this right here, right behind this blue thing, is a magnet. Actually, it's an old old glitter gulch bottle opener magnet from Vegas. Old, probably 1980s. And any of these steel screws, these little steel parts will just drop right on there. If I'm doing it right over it, if it pops out of my hand, I'll pick it up. So there's a brass contact right there. Brass in the laser mirror. And the magnet for that. And some brass. And some of the copper for that magnet. And that's coated brass. Chunk. I'm going to get into this. There's a whole other motor, 2 other motors. Ooh, that smell of electronics plastic. strong. Really just want this other plastic off. Well, it's less than what it was. These headphones have a bad speaker. It's not like you're gonna get much. Probably could, right? Wow. Okay. So no. All right. So let's see. There is a. I don't know what's here. This. That's just. Those are brass connectors right there. I mean, I don't know how much more the value of brass is, but I mean, it's more than steel. It's probably more than aluminum. I heard Thumbprint say something about what he looks for. I mean, anything besides the steel, if it's almost white and always red or something may not even been him. In regards to like iron and steel's gonna be darker unless it's the really, really shiny silver. But the copper and aluminum, just its natural tone, especially the galvanized. I am not by any means going to pretend to be an aficionado of scrapping. I'm just taking this stuff apart. That's steel. Things that have been sitting around like this, electronics, gun electronics from eBay, stuff that I just don't want to deal with anymore, stuff I just don't want. There's some brand new freaking headphones in here. 4 years listed. Nobody wants them. So I might as well invest a little bit of time. Where's the other one? All right. Invest a little bit of time in taking some of the stuff apart. Why am I throwing the trash down there? The stuff's going to add up fast. Let me get a container. tossing is correct. And I forgot what I was going with that. Oh yeah, that way. If I remember to always constantly toss it. Well, either way, if I just remember the scrap needs to go in there. I actually have a couple hard drive neodymium magnets on there that are 1/10 that size and 10 times stronger. But this works as long as I'm doing it right here. This is one of those things from watching those other scrap channels. I'm like, why don't you guys just put a magnet right below where you're taking stuff apart at? It's right there. Yeah, it's... These ones here, something is wrong on this wire somewhere. Right there. Somewhere down here. Something's wrong with the wire. I'll tinker with those later. This is just a old USB. Probably keep that one. USBs are just always good to keep around. Just don't have a whole bunch of one kind if you don't need them. This is actually a pretty interesting thing. This is a portable interpreter. You think it'd be someone would want it? I've had it. I think it even has the original receipt. No, just like little stickies. Something like this. I might keep that just listed as the manual. $10. Put it in the box of books. It doesn't sell in a year. I doubt it. No, you know what? Let's stop that. And then some headphones I think are in here. Yeah. So that's brass, most likely. Nice one. Whichever one of those got punched in the head. You got all kinds of fur, white fur. Yeah, I don't think it was rocket because if it was it. All right, that's what I thought. Because she would have come running down here. So this thing. Let's see, 3-point. No bastards. You had me at hello. These things right here are going to be brass. I mean, it's not a... Well, that's right. It's not a whole bunch more. But it's better than it being plastic. Because we all know what it's like to live a life of plastic. Ooh. You can brush my hair. I'm dressing anyway. Ooh, that's fantastic. Made of plastic. Well, you don't want to count like that. There's a screw left in there. Well, circuit board's where it's at. Oh yeah, look at those. But they're painted. And they have a lot of feet on them. Here's some nice older ICs. I don't sell this stuff, right? I'm just doing this for now. And that's probably a silver resistor point. I'm trying to remember some of my electronics days. I don't know what kind it is because they're painted over, like with a model paint. But I mean, how many feet are on that one? 12,000 megahertz crystal chip. So there's crystal and silver in those. All those old contacts right there, that's gold. Gold and some sort of lesser type copper or whatever is in there. I mean, it's not going to be complete. It's going to be enough to make that proper circuitry. Talking like I know what I'm talking about, but to some degree I do, not in the exact regards of what a lot of these scrappers do. There's going to be gold, copper, there's going to be alloys in there. That's just a cool little keypad to keep. Pair of Bose headphones. that real easy. So why would that? Well, it's metal, but why do you have those screws on that in order to make it feel like it's something that can be taken apart? And it can't. Well, while I have that open, I might as well get a little bit of extra wire, huh? Pretty dense plastic. Makes sense. Those can go in the, do something with that stuff later. Sony controller doesn't work. That Sony battery pack, I don't know if it's any good, but those are probably 15, 20 bucks. And I'm sitting here thinking, it's like, oh, I'm taking apart these little chargers. But that one is probably going to be a lot more demand than a 20-year-old charger for a digital camera. I don't think that's it. No, I had another one. Now, was it? See, people would end up, a lot of people would take these things apart and just sell that. Not my gig. Since I know that is that one. These little knobbies. Yeah, you can sell a bunch of this stuff. But I'll stick with what I got. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. I was going to end up slicing myself open. Well, I didn't slice, but get myself a couple times. What is that? I'm going to put right there and that one come off. I don't, that is, actually, well. Oh, gyro. So that's just the board. That's just the board in the world. Another one. And there's a little less parts in these things. That looks like it's actually just right on there. Yeah, it is. Now I got these. Okay. There it goes. That's plastic too. More plastic. Yeah, I'm still going to be at this for a while. I'm going to do this. So turn that back on. Change thumbnail. I really don't want to spend this much. I don't want to spend this much time on trying to just get this little bit of motor, but if I'm removing screws, I'm adding value to my effort. I mean, it's probably worth more than just scrap motor like this, but I've never taken things apart like this, so might as well capitalize on what little bits of metal I can get. Well, they make these annoying. That is it. I have one. If not, I've got my iFixit. Well, at least that's easy. Well, if I could have just done that, right? So that was part of, I think it was a PlayStation controller. And I'm just taking these things apart because they're junk. They don't work. And any of this scrap, for the most part, is just going to be put in a box and shelved somewhere. And who knows when I'll end up processing it some more to get exactly the silver and all. But it's just going to be, it's an investment box, a time capsule. Stuff I'm just taking apart because it doesn't sell on eBay and I don't deal with this stuff anymore. I deal with physical media. It's never sold. It's been up for years and years and years and years. And to me, it just makes sense to, instead of throwing it out or donating it or giving it away, I can learn a little something. Got to get the persuasion bar. There's some bunch of glue on this. That was a little different. Can you lift up the other one, please? No. That I think is just a little spring. Okay, there's it. Nose. What else we got? This old Remington shaver. Take that off. Is it cast? Or more plastic? That's steel. These are probably going to be gold, like a gold plate. No, they're steel. Don't talk to me about metal type advice. So these, barely. Maybe some sort of zinc. Don't know, it's all just going to get tossed in there. Someone's dog barking outside. It's not too long. It's probably 0 degrees, if not colder. Look at that nice little motor. So, I mean, that was a nice little chunky find. Some aluminum. It's probably brass on there. It's battery contact. It stinks. It's steel. But, yeah, look at that. That's from an old shaver. So if you're a a scrapper or e-waste. I mean, if you e-waste, then you know that basically anything runs on batteries or plugs in. But definitely water shavers, man. That's a nice little chunk of aluminum. You wouldn't think that would be in there. They had to use aluminum, which it really doesn't make sense for that. I was like, you had to use aluminum because everything else was chunky. But you're trying to probably most likely for cost, but like it's not going to matter for the weight. What's another couple grams? Rocket. All right, I'll go in there. I don't think that would be good enough. Well, that's just going to be that. And then the camera. Let's go ahead and get this one open. Not with the easy. This I picked up, I don't remember, a couple bucks. I just think it's really cool. Old Unique cassette player, portable cassette player. It's heavy. These might be brass, which would make sense if they are. Yeah, they are. Well, that. No, I'm not a scrapper. I don't do this, but just had this stuff, and I'm not going to do anything with it besides throw it away. So. Well, you can connect it to it. That minus the paper. There's going to be more that are holding that part on. That smell of broken plastic. Broken electronics plastic. These are brass down here. What these are? Might be copper for... Oh, no, I want to be for reception. Yeah. Likely brass. I didn't design it, I'm just tearing it apart. A piece of, feels like zinc steel. Looks like it. Could be aluminum. Could be, I don't know. No, it's steel. If you're new here, just stopping in, I sell physical media on eBay. This stuff doesn't sell. This is not physical media. It's just a accumulation of essentially what's just scrap and is going to be scrapped. So I figure I invest in my future right now and take the step apart, because who knows, 50 years, who knows what. You know, I'll start getting my own little scrap collection going. Maybe some of these better metals, but so I have room to hold a box of stuff. I'm not gonna do like aluminum or anything like that, or you know, big chunks or anything. It's just if I see something, if I want to take it apart, so be it. That one's a lost cause. It's just a little bit of steel. These are wires and magnets. Too long of a body for that. I mean, they're window sensor magnets. With wire. And hardware. I got like 10, I don't know about 10. I had a handful of these bags. Oh, I don't think I'm done with that. This is aluminum, but it had steel on it, right? It's nice little, for an old shaver. Oh, this is steel right here. Now there we go. Things like this. Just metal, and then a whole bunch of other steel. Other mainly like steel bolt hardware. And look at all that. So this is not, this is not my usual thing that I do. I resell physical media, and this stuff was just going to get tossed out or donated. And there was value in this metal, value in this scrap, value in my time. So the way I see it is I go live, just kind of take some stuff apart, because as soon as this stuff is taken apart, I'm probably not going to do any scrap like this again. And ultimately, I'm going to end up with stuff that holds value. If I separate all the steel out, then it's going to be copper, aluminum, and circuit boards, and brass. And then over time, over years and years and years, you can move and get a bigger place and just start accruing big old trash cans. And then someday you're like, yep, it's time to go cash in on 3 tons of everything but steel. I don't know. I'm just kind of ferry boating here. Makes sense to me. Think of it like all the scrap that was just sitting there that was going to be donated is like a CD, a certificate of deposit. All you had to do is do a little work for a couple hours to take it apart and keep it and sell it eventually. Look how sloppy those electronics were then. So that is what I am doing. This is just for fun. It's not going to be cashed out anytime soon. It consolidates these 2 boxes that you see to, it should be your right, but right here. This other box is full of stuff, computer stuff, like fans. There might be some optical drives, some CD optical drives in there. There's all kinds of other internet, remote controls, old PDF, like an old Pilot PDF, battery charger, this little thing. All this shit's going to be taken apart. Yeah, I'm going to try to consolidate it as much as I can. I mean, I probably shouldn't really have to tinker with a lot of this because it's most of all this is metal. So I love a circuit board. And these should just, a lot of times they have little, I want to say a set pin in them. And a lot of times they get pushed in there. Look how weak, wow. Yeah, that's just going to go in there. But that's almost all metal. Big chunk of aluminum. And there's obvious brass I could see. But that is a 10, 12 ounces easily of metal. From an old portable cassette player. Let's see. That plastic. However, if you are one of my usual viewers, then this is a little not typical of me. However, I guess it is kind of eBay related, right? Because this is most of all this stuff was listed. Most of it. More fucking screws. And all this is gonna be is just a little IRI, the letter I, letter R, and then the word I, and IRI. And a little receiver. What is this one actually? Oh, this is the little temperature thing. Yeah, there's nothing much in here. Oh, the cats. Cats come running downstairs. Oh well. Yeah, I thought this was likely brass. Likely brass. Feels like, no. Yeah, there was a screw. Oh well. Let's see. Cheap battery tester. I feel like, I don't know, the name brand Milwaukee or Cobalt or something, a digital multimeter. Nothing major, but definitely better than this piece of the blah blah. But it's intended for batteries. So even if it's cheap, it's still gonna have a little bit of copper and brass, I guess. It's more metal in that than of what well, not really. If I didn't take it out, it's got no value if I didn't remove it. Oh, it's friendly in there. Don't worry about that. What else? Random grab. Do you really want to take apart batteries? No. That I'll do with some other time. Glove. That. That you'll have to wait for another day. If they're not going to come apart easily, I'm not going to break my back over it. That even comes with the battery. Looks like. Probably isn't. No. No, I got to do another time. Special screwdriver for it. I don't want to do that one right now. I already did. Yeah, chat. I don't know if you can see the tablet. I have a tablet right here that I'm watching. My magic. Well, if you like them, I mean, I'm not going to rearrange my entire schedule for it's not really an entire schedule. I don't spend a whole lot of time with eBay, 30 hours maybe, but it's been really, with cold. I don't remember how long you really joined in, but December I don't do a lot of buying because I'm trying to flush inventory that's really been around. I do still list, and then I run a bigger sale, and then I pull a lot of stuff. But since the end of the year all the way up to about now, it's been either really, really cold or I wasn't really outsourcing. And then the other car was down for about a week and then it got cold again. It's still cold. So I'm not going outside. And this is stuff that otherwise was allotted together. And most of this one is computer stuff. And I was just going to lot them up and 99 cents plus weight. Somebody buys it, cool. If not, then oh well. Then what? I was going to donate it. So knowing that this is going to take a few hours, I figure I'd go live. Either way, it's going to be if I had. Hey, what am I kid? Rigby? No, that's Monkey. Of course, it's Monkey. All the way on the top shelf in the kitchen. But if I go out and I have plenty to show that I bought. That's what I thought. Here's metal. I'm not going to deal with that. If I have plenty to show that I bought 50, 60 items, yeah, I'll do a live that way. And I will start doing them more when I do a bigger accumulation of listings and they need to be put away, books and or other disc media. Same principle as I did the other day. Which that is more likely going to happen more often because weather's getting better and I have a better plan. Not really better, same plan, just more motivation to need to go out in order to accommodate payment for a lot of other things. And the more I go out, the more I get, the more I sell, better I feel. So eat beans for onions, right? The positive cascade, the positive runaway effect. I know what I have to do. It's got to get done. So the odds of me doing lives are going to be increased manyfold. So that's clean electronics. So inside of all, like these little connectors in here, those are gold plated. So I don't sell any of this stuff. This is my first time ever doing anything like this. I watch a scrapper, not only Dub Print in Canada, but another one I watch is Scrap It All, and this is exactly what he would do. He would even start chopping some of this stuff down. I just want to get this stuff consolidated, see if it'll fit in a box half this size, and just put it on a shelf. 20 years from now, I'll be like, oh man, I got that. But who knows what I'll accrue scrap-wise over time, but I did want to do this. And there's that whole box right there that's got stuff in it. Then I'm going to go through. So welcome back. I need a USB extender, but longer. I'll find one at the thrift store. This. I'm already putting on return with that now. So I don't think I'm going to go to the extreme like a lot of them. They'll boil these and they'll pull this brass apart. I'm just doing this, separating it now. Some of the stuff I can deal with later. I'm not pressed about. It's going to, what's left down here and what needs to be, I might break open some of this other stuff, but a lot of it is just going to be tossed in a box and forgot about. Forget about it. And then when I do open the box up 30 years from now, it's a whole bunch of copper and gold and silver. And someone is like, dude, gold's $9,000 an ounce. Like, I got some laying around somewhere. gotta stay reasonable with the thinking. So this is either $0 in the trash or a little bit of time and I get to talk. However you want to look at it. Panasonic remote control. This was listed probably 4 years. Some remote controls for sure, man. You can go out and go find remote controls for $1 or $2, and it's another one of those I used to deal with a lot because it was smalls and it's things that was would sell. And I got away from this kind of stuff, these electronics and primarily physical media. Matter of fact, I just took down all my flatware listings. And I just got pictures of what I have left, and I'm just going to auction by pattern run the auctions maybe twice. And see what's up with that. I just don't want to deal with the flatware anymore. Probably not much worth of anything for a circuit board, but it's worth more than it just being in the trash. So to answer your question, if you've gotten used to any of my videos or anything, sometimes I can answer very, very, very direct answer, or sometimes that's a winded way of saying, you know what, that's a good idea, man. I will start getting into more lives. But I did explain why and how that's going to happen. It's because I got to buy more stuff. Maybe I'll start doing shorts, which I don't want to do. This is just, I really don't want to get into the whole, I'm not doing any other like social platforms anytime soon. That's for damn sure. Just YouTube. And this is a Nintendo DS. I might keep that one. I don't want to keep like stuff like that. PlayStation controller battery pack. Don't know how long it lasts, but it came out of that controller. Well, that was a USB block charger. Oh well. Another USB cord. See, I knew I had two of them. So yeah, I could put the two of these together. That's probably $30 for these 2 car charger ones. I think I actually have a little connecting cord with that too. There's a Roku. I think it's Roku 1.1, 1.0 or whatever. It's their first one. Like, fucking, I don't know, 2012 or something. Maybe it's not that older one. It is an older one. 71308 looks like maybe. But those are going to be heat welded. I mean, I probably could easily try. But I'm not going to, no. So a lot of these cords, I'll just have to deal with this. Even consolidate it more much later. But the principle, the point is the same. Hey, monkey. Down there playing with these cords. Actually, these. I guess it doesn't matter. I've got other containers. But the big point is just consolidate this. What are your thoughts on? I don't use them. I mean, I can, but for what I do, it's my information that I need for the listing is so brief and so succinct. Mint disc, one small scuff, clean artwork. That's it. I don't need to overly verbose anything, let alone have learning computers do it. I don't have anything against it. Technology, that's never going away. So if anybody has any degree of apprehension toward technology and advancement, that's on them. But what's people are going to be like, no AI. And then all of a sudden their opinion now is going to stop all advancement AI all the way across the time. That's one of those things you just like, oh, well, it's happening. And you just kind of deal with it. So that's not my aspect on that. I think it's great that things like that are out there. And there's going to be nefarious uses. And laws are going to have to be made and arbitrated and codified, and just like anything else. That may have been a little more of an explanation you're looking for, but I don't mind, but I don't use it. In almost an absolute sense, if you find a tool that's going to make what you do easier, and even more so if you're doing, if most of reselling is based off of secondhand stuff or stuff that otherwise wasn't really going to survive the market, it's going to end up in the landfill. If you're one of those recyclers, like most are, if you want to use AI to help keep that stuff out of the landfill, help yourself. My tool is my brain that over time I've just kind of figured out people don't complain about the very, very non-detailed amount of information in a listing. So I figured out what can I do to make my work easy. Physical media. There's all kinds of processes I'm skipping, but as they say, I don't know how old you are, but as they say, whatever floats your boat. If it makes it easy, if it makes it happy, do it. But I don't. I did notice in the past couple lives. I know I got a couple from some of the Fallout builder people, because I go over to another chat, another live stream for Fallout. I don't build. They're just a cool group. I know a couple of the recent 10 subs, and that I think is for, yeah, it's another one I don't have the other part for. I don't know really why I do that. How's that going? Well, the past couple of days, I gained quite a few. Got a bunch of Amazon 321 batteries in here. These are probably good for another 10 years, maybe. 5. And that is not 8. It is. Okay. I'm not really super. I have to have the subs, but that is part of the intent. If you make yourself a regular on YouTube or on any of the platforms, I got a feeling your intent is ultimately, no matter when, to make money. Even if you're spreading a positive message, like I don't care, I don't want anything. Your intent is capitalism. So yes, that is part of my intent. I don't think it's going to go super far. I mean, maybe in 5 years I can have a good chunk, but a lot of this stuff in here is just really. Oh, here we go. When was the last time you ever saw inside of an IBM palmpilot thing, WordPad? If I can get in here. I mean, these things were built like tanks, so. Oh, no, wow. That was surprisingly easy. But this is the version 1.0 of these. And then after that, then it went to PalmPad or something, or they bought it, or it's not steel and plastic, it start be bending back by now. It's not, so that's aluminum. Yeah. So that is what the inside of probably, I don't know what this is, 1990 maybe. That is essentially, this is essentially the precursor of what I'm using right now, so you can see this. Handheld devices. I believe that's the old ass battery, which I'm going to be careful with. And yeah, see that glass now doesn't break like that. That is pretty though. The coloring. That's pretty. Well, I'm gonna have to. Reminds me of an old Game Boy that I broke. I was playing. It was a scroll shooter, like a ship shooter, Metroid or something. I don't remember. Calculator. But my intent, obviously what I do is I got to get out and get more. But the weather has just been so, if you're anywhere in the United States, if you're not out on the edges, like Florida and California, if you're pretty much anything between, right now it's not nice outside. No, Magic, I think. Oh, no, okay, yeah, exactly. So you didn't write that yet, but if I remember, you're familiar with an area that ends in heights and an area that ends in village. So you know. Kind of glad. I don't know how long this one. I'm gonna look at that. An hour. Fucking 2. Man, I'm gonna be here for a couple more hours. That's for sure. I gotta go through that whole other box. So if anyone is new who doesn't know what I do, this is not what I do. This is what I'm doing. I resell physical media on eBay. I've been a reseller for a long time. Got into physical media on that gold. Got into physical media it'll be the start of 5 years this year, and it changed my my goal and my hit points for what I want to be able to sell and have my life be. And it's physical media is really easy. This is stuff that I had just left over. I was not selling. I figured I'd take it apart and put all the scrap in a box and open that box up in 20 years and redeem it. A lot of this other stuff in here is just small cables and cords. Stuff I have to break open. So get to organizing, or at least but there are some of these things in here that I do want to make sure that If I have to get violent with this so I can take it apart, I will. There's like two of the three. No, I say one of the three screws give me a problem. It's plastic. It's trash. It's going to get broken. It doesn't matter, right? So I don't have to be nice with it taking it apart. It's just not coming apart with conventional means. This box it. No box, either way. I'll take my daughter. She's not going to use them. Those are junk. Those will just get dealt with later. But I have at least a box. And somebody gets a bunch of cassettes or a handful of CDs and recycle, reduce, reuse. Those are lights that work intermittently. I saw something here. That's too loud. I took the trash out. That's all I did. And that was trash. That was what was a bag that has already been out since a handful of days ago, and then just refilled another one by consolidating the other trash cans, and then the cat pans, the cat litter. So that needed to be done. All right, so there's that. But my intent, and I'm not absolute 100% that it has to happen that way. Hold on a minute. So we have this stray cat that comes by every once in a while. I'll see him in videos. His name is Bandit. And my cats, usually when he's outside, they'll start kind of pacing. If not, they'll just kind of hang out right here at the sliding door. When I saw a reflection, they kept pacing around, so I thought maybe he was out here, which would be good, because then I could feed him. Because it's, you know what it's like outside right now. But throughout the years, he's been a stray out here. Keeps coming back. And this is not the worst cold of what there was. I think last year or the year before was like the very, 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 very cold day. Yeah, matter of fact, we even, one of the maintenance guys put out a little APB for the tenants. Hey, if anyone can take in a cat while it's minus 30, minus 20. I was like, yeah, we will. And a couple of days later, someone I knew, he works for the animal, some program. See? So I'm glad I opened that one up. I could feel the weight in there, but there's a little pump that has to move this water. And then the speaker's metal. Now, if I do that, if it cracks open the wrong way, I'm going to slice my hand open. But my intent is to pick up the pace more, as opposed to be more, I want to say laissez-faire about it, but be more structured in knowing on what days I have to go out. And, I don't want to go out. No, dude, you got to go out. You have to go out a minimum of 4 days a week. That kind of stuff. To where this year I can, I don't know, have 150K gross. So a lot of that stems back to, hey, more streams. Yeah, well, if I'm going out and doing that, there's a lot of times when I can make a stream because it'll be long enough. This, what you're seeing right now, is just complete. I was going to do it anyhow. May as well. So there's another. There's a little like small sump in there, but I think it's just rubber and a diaphragm, plastic and a diaphragm. Got another one. And if you're into reselling, Magic, I'm not 100% sure I've inferred that yet, but Falcon Finds, he does clothes. He's just another one of those. When I started my YouTube, maybe a couple months after that, January, February of last year, he came by. You know, I was basic, bare bones, not quite comfortable with YouTube, and I'm still not. Every single video, you kind of change your approach and your demeanor and stuff. But he came over and said something about something that I sold, and then he subbed to my channel. So I'll go over and I'll watch some of his. He's got like 3,000 subs, but he mainly does clothes. And even though I don't do clothes, I'll go listen to his 15-minute videos if they're enough to really intrigue me. But some of the brands he mentions, yeah. I was like, what? Dude, when I sold clothes, what little I did, but my interest was nil. But I'm like, you know what? That's a real nice, heavy coat. Let me look it up. Oh, it's a $200 coat. Do I want to deal with clothes? Fuck no. So I don't deal with clothes. But he does. And so do a lot of other sellers. I watched a lot of those different resellers. I mean, the ones that got me more intrigued, I'm not going to promote or say much of any of the channels that didn't really do me much of any good. In categories I don't pay attention to. Falcon, I will. He's a small channel. But I watched James Hostetler, whatever his name is, at My Boring Reseller Life. He got his inventory in his basement. 100,000 listings, plus, I don't know, the millions and millions of other listings he has yet to get to. I was like, oh yeah, man, that stuff is everywhere. He's a primary reason. Golden State Picker, Kevin, that Golden State Picker, I want to say his name's Kevin. Golden State Picker. Another reason why I got into, I was like, oh man, well, you're paying 50 cents for that book at XYZ, whichever, and it's $100. And then you watch another video, and then the same kind of approach that he did, probably still does, I don't know, but years ago, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, what he was doing was like that. Not quite like the way I do, but pretty much. He does his different now, but still, it's the same thing. It's like, oh yeah, bet you I can go there. Fuck yeah, that's what I did. I went out there and I find those $50 books, $100 books, $300 books, $100 CDs, $50 DVD all day, every day. And that's my point, is to get to pretty much every day. Not quite all day. You get the point. Another long way to say, I need to stop talking. So, well, I can't go out right now, but get busy living, get busy dying. Because the world just up and grew in a hurry. Brooks. But I'm fairly fairly well. I do fairly well in math, basic on the whim math. And if you show me something as you don't have to work as much, and each time you do something, your main calculations for it is 20% better than what it was before. But all the other stuff you were doing before, you're barely staying afloat. Yeah, man, what is that? Go buy some books and disc media. Have fun. All right. That's what I did. Another battery. Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of some thermal pads. I'm going to keep those. Some floppies in here. This is a cool block. I think this one smelled at one time. But this is going to have all kinds of contacts in here, all kinds of brass and copper in here. We're going to find a weak point. I mean, it's going to be right here. Yep. Is that one of those freaking rounded torques? A rounded torque. No, it is a Torx, and that is in there. I'm going to work my forearms for this one. Oh, that's why. So are you still up in this general area? Or the Heights area you mentioned? I mean, not that I can say it, not like you have to worry about anything, but I mean, I can say orange, and you would know what I'm talking about, but other people wouldn't, most likely. You can hear that wind whipping around pretty strong. It's the part about up here. So it snowed quite a bit, but looking at what the reports are for Madison, all the way out to Beulah, Ashtabula. Now look at that nice chunky. So they have to use a thicker copper in here, right, to keep it shielded from the extra heat. So that's what I knew. That's just common sense in electronics. 90% of the insulation on a wire is just so it doesn't overheat. It may be 70% actually, but it's just the point that most of your copper wire is acting as its own best friend. There's a spring in there. Don't worry about that. All right, so all this chunky stuff right here. That's why I watch those channels. I mean, I'm not like I'm going to be finding electronics and all this stuff constantly and just going to be doing this. If I see something in the dumpster, I was like, yeah, I'm sure I could spend 10 minutes and take it apart, add it to my pile. And I'm not going to actively look. But if I see a big chunk of like leftover lead people aren't using, yeah. I see a bunch of heavy brass, something at a yard sale for 10 cents, yeah. because I want to start a little scrap pile, because like I said in the video already, this right now is just an investment. I already paid the money for this stuff. I could throw it away and get zero back on it anytime I want. I could throw it away and get nothing. In 10 years from now, would I throw it away? After I throw this away, I'd still be making nothing on it. Or for kicks and giggles, fun, entertainment, viewership, and a retirement fund. Just kidding, but I can take this stuff apart. And I'm just going to try to see if I can just get all this shell off. And for whatever I got out of, whatever I spent on all this stuff, whatever it's all going to turn out to be, 10 years from now, when I want to open this box up, you're like, I got a bunch of copper and brass. When copper is now at 10 years from now, it's 3 times the value of what it is now. How about this? I watched sufficient amount enough of scrapping and micro scrapping channels to understand the nomenclature, the jargon, and what the stuff is, and to understand that the value is in everything but steel. Steel, you're going to get your money on volume of weight. All this other stuff is not. You're going to get it on just because it's worth more. So in years and years and years from now, I just started hobby scrapping as of pretty much a couple hours ago. What will all this little that's solid brass right there. What will all this accumulation add up to? Well, I don't know, because that's in the future. But I'll bet you it's worth my time to do this now and start micro scrapping very, 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 very passively. All right. There's all that. That's all riveted on right there. I can like 3D Tetris on how this is, right? So it's like one of those, like a lament box from Hellraiser. That's what it was like. It's like you have to move one thing the right way to get the right way. Rubik's Cube meets Tetris meets lament box meets the Russian nesting dolls. That's what this is. There we go. There we go. Okay, so all that from the outlet, plus this. I don't know really what it's worth, but it's probably 50 cents worth. Don't know. You found a new home for 30 years, buddy. What else is in here? Discs. I think this is mouse. So there's going to be a logic board on a mouse, right? So I guess I've been on vacation, not really doing a whole lot. What happened to that damn flathead? Is that the one that fell down there? That's a heavy ball, too. Because it's wrapped in... What do you mean open? There it goes. I don't know what that's made out of. Steel, probably. It had, well, it's got this little rubber on it, but it is semi-magnetic. Yeah. Like this little thing has hardware. And I still have other little containers and bins, not like electronic, close enough, of that kind of stuff. I had a smaller. That's just all going to be metal as well. Invest in my future. Buy war bonds. Fuck, I'm probably going to have to before too long. And these rollers in here. That one, how is that even stuck? I guess you, I don't know if you left or not, but. Right there's brass contacts there. I'm definitely not letting it. I'm getting old, breaks my bones. When I move, I'm gonna groan. Old people, West Virginia, broken bones. So this is real interesting, just logic board in itself. There's a lot of plastic right here. I just broke the damn board. I mean, it doesn't matter. Don't tell me that this wheel is either completely stainless because it's not sticking. Complete stainless. So broken bones make me groan. Mountain Mama, take me home. I've been doing a lot of singing today. Well, I don't want to just toss that out, but this one I'm going to. No, I'm going to keep it. So there's an IC, an oscillator on here, and some contacts, little buttons. Yeah, my old plastic. Oh, you know what? I think I have a graphics card in here. maybe it's. But I have an order graphics card. It might be somewhere else. A burnout one. With a 460. Oh. All right. So this is just a computer cable for a power supply, modular power supply. Probably keep it, but that's the thing. I did keep it, and I've never used it. And I got some more in there. Yeah, I only use basically what I don't go crazy with my power supplies. Like I don't need anything more than what I have. If I ever am, I'm going to buy a brand new one, and it's going to be like a gold rated one. So it'll last longer, be more efficient, cost more. This is one, if I remember right, from maybe it was Scrap It All. But the contacts are brass. So instead of cutting it, losing those brass contacts, I lost that one with that. That was dumb. I fucking thought I cut you off. I cut you off! This might just be able to just break like this. I don't know if you can hear one of my cats over here slamming. Yeah, talking about you, Rigby. So, now that I know, well, I'm not going to get super. At least I know the process for this. How about computer pen? That was easier. That's why I watch those guys. Right there. Pop that off. There you go. the magnet. That's what you're after. Just that. I could probably get that whole thing. Plastic. Right there, that's primarily what I meant. Well, actually, I'll cut all this stuff down right here. Should be able to. There you go. Not doing too bad as a kindergarten scrapper person. So if you're just popping in, make it easy. I resell physical media on eBay. Do pretty good doing it. This is a bunch of electronic stuff, computer stuff that just never sold. I was going to donate and toss it out. And I was like, you know what? I bet you there's some scrap value in this. And I've watched a few scrapping channels to know. And that is where I'm at now. Going to get this scrap and process more stuff down over time. This will turn into something more and more and more and more and more. And then 20 years, but I got a whole freaking box full of brass and broke down processed electronics. You want to buy it? Or I'll just scrap it and sell it that way, right? I'm investing in my future. When I watch channels like Thub Print, and the one that actually inspired me more over to do this, he didn't say. I was just like, oh, you know, I could do that. And then I just don't want to. I didn't want to listen to this electronic stuff. It's like, you know what? I could probably make a video about this. And every once in a while, you catch me in a good mood, singing, "Old people bones make me groan." So if you are a professional super duper e-waste scrapper, and if you're watching this, and if you're laughing, I take tips. Because some things I do know on, I shouldn't probably do it like that. All right, you're going to get saved for later. That's filthy. I don't do this kind of stuff, so I am a watch and learn, and I watched enough, and I know with my years of electronics, none of this stuff is going to come back and zap me. And there's no heavy capacitors and stuff. And I know how to take some of these apart sometimes. Like that. This, I'll probably just do this for now. There's one I got stuck in there. Yeah, I'm not going to try to crack those open just for that little bit of wire. And there's going to be, I don't know if that is. Feels like there's metal in there, but I'm not going to bother with it. This is, I have to try to remember his name. I've had this thing for years. This is a Kiwi Kingwin media dashboard. And the guy I knew did computer like little things reviews, and I knew him on Facebook. And this is 10 plus years ago. And so after he'd get done with review, he could sell it. And so I had an XPS, I think it was an XPS 720. Dell, not a Dell. But yes, a Dell. And that XPS 720, as a matter of fact, I was talking to my wife about that. That was a 775 quad core, like a 4.4 gigahertz or whatever. It was 3.3 or something, whatever. And so I was getting different things. As a matter of fact, there was an optical drive. You know what? That's missing from here too. Where is all that other shit? There's a whole bunch of other stuff too. This is going to be a long stream, I know, but I'm going to be doing this anyhow. So I know I have a whole other box. But I got like a Blu-ray, like an Asus Blu-ray optical drive. This thing here, like a digital speaker, graphic equalizer for the computer speaker. I went out on just so my computer can look cool for me. And this is leftover. This is about the only thing I have left. And I think the only thing that works is like the headphone thing on it anymore. So it doesn't work. It's going to have logic boards. With all these fingers in this, right there, all these memory card reads, that's all gold. Those pins that are all in there. It's not a lot, but it's more than if this was in the trash. And I'm doing it, and actually this is pretty fun. Derek, don't talk yourself into becoming a micro scrapper. You know, if I had plenty of more room and I came across this stuff a lot, yeah. For the same principles I just said. You take it apart, you separate your metals, you put them in a box. 20 years from now, whenever, you just go in there, just go into some scrapyard. Like, oh, copper is $19 a pound. That's not what it is now. It's like $4 a pound. But yeah, man, I've been saving copper. There you go. Pay your house off right there. Like I said, planning for my future. Physical media ain't going anywhere, and neither are precious metals and components. I mean, these binding teeth over here for the circuit board, those are going to be gold. We have another oscillator in here, silver in that. Now this whole board. And these, because I've built these before, should just pop right out of that pin. There we go. No, I'll just deal with a different day. But that is why I watch Scrap It All. Again, I don't know how much you're into this conversation here, but this is not what I usually do. This is my first time doing something like this, and I am today year old doing scrapping, right? But I watch scrap it all, and I'm just it's nice to see that people like that, like they take the time to really tear that stuff down. It's supposed to just, they get more money for it, but it's also good that it's like this. So this is brass, this riser. And it's going to be able to break it down like that. It makes it easier for the next process that needs to be done for the recycling and reclamation process. They're not going to use the plastic or the fiber that the boards are made out of. But they'll reuse those metals. As far as I understand, these all glass displays like this aren't worth anything, right? And I don't know, that's probably just, yeah. Different buffer on that. But to me, that's just one board. I'm not going to take it apart anymore. I'm not micro scrapping like that. And so I have this here. I did not get, well, I got it. I'm like, nope. That was enough for me to be like, nah. I think it was like the third sale, which is good that sales are picking back up. Because obviously, for the reason why I said, glad sales are picking back up. If you're one of my regular viewers and my channel viewers, my payout's going to be a little less than what I shoot for. What I know I need to have the minimum a week. But one time out of how many to where it's going to be short, it's not going to break me. It just sucks because you're anticipating that good growth and then no. But if you sell, all you can do is just keep listing stuff that people want. And I might be able to give this a nice tug. Oh, come on. A little bit of white brass. Yeah, there's a whole lot of freaking box missing. Let me go find it. Well, I can't find the box. Because I know there's a graphics card in there. There's a couple other things in there. But, oh well. And then due time, just so I can make sure that all this, all these things here, you know, I'll just eventually break this up. I do have a bigger screwdriver. And eventually crack these open. Should be able to get it like right here, right? Where you can try to yank that out. Or you can split it right here to try to get in and start prying it open. Takes most of that out. And it'll just be the board and the wire and that plastic. Then it'll all just be consolidated down. Start accruing boxes. As a matter of fact, there's a scrapper. His name is Big Mike or Big D or something. And I'm not subbed or anything. I just kind of see that stuff in passing. And he just listed or posted a video, and his videos are usually long, of all these ingots that he has, and his entire ingot room is full. And his ingot room is probably 4 times the size of what you're visually seeing behind me. It's just silver, brass, copper, all that stuff he has down into ingots. And he has a lot of it. And he's like, oh, it's full. Well, at that point now, I was like, what are you going to do? You're going to cash it in now? And then just start replenishing that room again? That concept, but obviously much smaller scale. All that work he did, melting all that and making bricks, was just one day so he can cash it out. So actually, do this here. It's a carbon monoxide detector. It does work. But it is, where's the freaking battery thing for this, man? This battery for this thing, there it is. It's like, I mean, it's not a problem, right? But when you rent, your landlord has to pay for it. And we have 2 in here. 2 other metal detectors. Carbon monoxide detectors in here. Nope, no. Let's see what that did besides make a whole bunch of sharp points. Point was, I'm gonna do that. So hoping it'd come apart. There we go. And they really did not want some kid getting in here taking the. something metal of some sort. I think they're titanium. I think I watched something on Technology Connections to explain what that stuff is. I don't know, titanium or something, but it's metal. And they explain like the design of this and what it does. These are optical drives. Yeah, some of that Asus Blu-ray. First, let's get that off. That's plastic. No wonder. So let's steal. Yeah. It's getting way too small for my eyes. But there are some itty bitty screws in there that maybe I can get that plastic out of there. There it goes. Rah. There's some more metal in there. I don't know what it is. At least break open one. No, it's glass. Not a little piece. Alright, so now I know I don't have to do that again for those other ones. This is just more fucking plastic. But it's a lot less than that. No, I mean, I don't need to save that Blu-ray one. Because with most, especially older ones, you need a program. And you could probably get the programs, but for all that, might as well just buy a used Blu-ray player for $20 at a thrift store. No, not that one. That one. Yeah, I don't think I have any of the IDEs,
These should be all SATA.
That one's different. If I had $1 million. Actually, that's pretty clean board right there. It's a pretty good one too. Has some weight. Pretty colors. Now I probably could take that all apart, like I did the other one. No, I think I already tried that part for that one. Yeah, that's a lot of steel, you know. I mean, I don't think it translates much for scrapping wise, but Oh, this is that Blu-ray one. That looks like metal. Yep. Wow. So, this is like balancing beads or something. I don't know with that, but that's interesting. That's a nice board. Taking apart electronics, stuff that just never ever sold on eBay. Figure I'd take it apart, get the scrap metal, make a box, put it on a shelf. 10 years later, see what happens. Just kind of start doing a little bit of micro scrapping, which I've never done before. When I got the stuff, instead of throwing it away, take a little time, take it apart, make a video, and retire in Havana. And it all starts, I think that one's metal too. It all starts right here. It is, it does look like a whole metal carriage. Another one I see here. Oh, might be. Oh, it'd been just as easy, huh? Yeah, that's all nice little chunky aluminum and circuit board. And this one doesn't rattle like this one does. There's nothing on here, and it rattles. Maybe it's the anti-skip, the balance thing. I don't know. I never took one of these apart. Never looked into why those work the way they do like that. All right, so those are done. We got Rigby. Come here, Rigby. No. So ultimately, I have this whole bin. This is already all the plastic trash. So I had a box like this and a whole other box a little bigger of just stuff. I mean, I got some old laptop batteries and stuff I'll take up to some place to recycle them. AutoZone, I think you could take it. You could take any kind of battery there. So if I can get these things processed down to where they just take up less room, it doesn't make sense for me to just kind of keep some boxes of some scrap electronics, and I can cash out on it whenever I want. And this is my first time really collecting for scrap. So I already had some good stuff. At least I'm not going out, trying to pluck 8,000 aluminum cans. I don't need to. There's more stuff in here yet. Well, why'd I do that? Oh, I got more bins. Put that with the box of stuff. You gotta get going through later. Well, like a CPU back plate or something. I've been kind of putzing around. I'm not expecting to get rich off of any of this. It's just more fun to do because I have it. Or, like I said plenty of times in this video, I could have just boxed it all up and thrown it away. And so a couple hours of time while I'm doing pretty much absolutely nothing, I could be doing something and getting something back. All right, so these blink. They don't sell super fast blink like computer disk and just use computer floppies and stuff, and CDs not so much, but the floppies, yeah. Especially like the Omega zips, and this is iOmega zip. A lot of those zips, the 250s, 500. I don't know if there's 500s, but 160s or whatever they are. CDRs all. Well, this is a disk medium. I'll save those when I get enough for all that. And I'll just be one big diskette lot I'll put up sometime. This should all mostly be metal. These are brackets for CPU coolers and things that's just been sitting around for however long. I'm not worried about that little piece of plastic. Figure, you know what, man, I already got this stuff laying around. It's not going to cost me anything to take it apart and learn on how things are taken apart, and just for general principle. The other general principle is it end up in the landfill. And this stuff is obviously, but it's this stuff minus this stuff, which has more value than the stuff that has no value. Minus a couple like with rubber washers. That's all metal. These. Yeah, so that's all kind of like a. But those ones you want to keep, because those got the gold in it. I mean, they all do to some degree. So let's put these fans. These are my fans. I got two people on right now. These are my two fans. Actually, that's what these are. That's all it is right here. It's fans and these. Water pump for a water cool for computer. So aside of a couple other things that I don't know where they're at right now, like graphics cards. Aside of that, and this one right here. Look at this. You're gonna shoot your eye out with that thing one day. Yeah, you're gonna shoot your eye out. Fun fact. The Christmas Story house, about 20 minutes down the road from me, where it's filmed at, for the, no one really here. But anyone in the future, from right now, can hear this. I'm like, that's cool. It appears to be a Phillips. I could swear there is. There's flathead. Torx. Unless these are put in here upside down. No, that doesn't seem like it. What the hell? I mean, for Phillips, all you need is the one that's the right size to put in there like that. And oh, that's not even for that anyhow. I mean, that survived. That's good. Yeah, this thing here definitely sat in someone's basement or garage. Okay. Well, that did loosen up a little. All I gotta do is get like one of these little areas really good. One of these corners, I can just start snapping the plastic. I doubt it. It's working now. If I can get one of these corners, and I can put enough stress on the plastic to snap it. I may not have to now. Just like that. Would have been easier if I didn't have to, but done now. That really wasn't necessary. But it was, because it had to happen that way. Yeah. Is this wherever this battery contact is? You pry it apart, so corroded it snapped in half. I hate these plastic weld speakers. From then until now. You know what? No, I don't think I'll make any money. I mean, I could still on eBay if I get rid of. Like, hey, this is stripped down e-waste. I have a video that you can see. It's right here of me stripping this stuff down. This is what you're getting. I don't know. Yeah, wires lead to somewhere for a reason. Oh, a little light. All right, fine. It's actually metal. This whole nameplate. I mean, I would have looked, but it's all metal. And that's plastic. This is too small for the screwdriver. Kidding? You'd figure that this damn thing would have snapped by now. little brass axle bearings. Didn't do me any good. And that is actually. Oh, damn. Yeah, I don't think I can go too crazy on trying to get that. This shouldn't be a problem. It's going to be easier to just go through this way. Alright. That didn't do any good. That's what it on there. Because what I can go after is a magnet and this contact in here. The terminal. No, I'm not going to bother with that. It is a little bit of chunky weight, but let me try. If I had one not strong enough and lip underneath it, I could just start pulling it up, but that's going to be way too much of a, just for steel. That's what I want to avoid. I haven't had to do that, do this. I'm going to have to, but I could just break this plastic, which was something I wasn't able to do, hence why I'm doing it like this. Gee, crimey. And then this is all just transformer and circuit board and switch. Old board. So that's it. I don't, I can do the rest of this some other time. I'm down to just me watching myself. So yeah, fun watching. Cool. I sell media on eBay and I wanted to take some stuff apart. That's what I did. All right, man. All right, everyone.